It was going great. It feels like it's been a long time since been out, but I think the bigger deal is that we're really excited yesterday to get back on the grass. You go a week or so, a little over a week of not practicing, and then you get a chance to see the guys that practice again working. We had a great day, so we're looking forward to this. And then just kind of recapping the last week, we did what we had to do, of course, to get the dub. That's not the way we want to end offensively. You guys know that we always want to have the chance to close it out right there at the end, and we had our opportunities, and fortunately we came out on top there.
How was the stretch tested y'all as a coaching staff? You're going back-to-back games, just having to get a team prepared on these standards. How have you guys handled that test, you feel like?
I think this is what we do, man. Dan has not only prepared the team or the players for this type of situation, but we've been prepared. We work differently in the off season than a lot of people. We also work different in the training camp than a lot of people. We really try to grind it out so that when we get to these points in times, we were completely prepared for a Sunday, Thursday, if you will. Now, the Sunday to Thursday, that's one of those ones where a lot of people stayed here quite a bit. That's part of it. But I think the detail and the communication between coaches, once we've been together now here 2 years, we can look at each other and know exactly what we're meaning, or something can be said and all of us got it at one time. We know exactly the detail that needs to be had. So it does help us going into walkthrough type situations, what we're looking for. But the hardest part was Sunday to Thursday. Now we're kind of back in the normal schedule. We're back in the, seeing our guys practice and seeing our guys move, so the tweaks can happen a little bit quicker.
This year, you guys have struggled in the red zone a little bit. You looked at the Tampa Bay last week, 2 of 5, probably not up to you guys' standard. Is there a common theme when you guys have struggled there in the red zone that you guys can point to? Obviously, that's going to be important Thursday night to take advantage of your points down there.
Yeah, no problem. That's a good question. One of the things that we try to make sure we're very detailed about are, just the execution points. It's been, several opportunities we've had to execute where we've just been one guy off or this guy off. So now what we have to do, and all of our guys know this, each person has to carry their load, not more just their load, and execute their part of it. And it really hasn't been anything outside of the details of maybe a penalty, a turnover, not doing things kind of the right way as far as the scheme is concerned. And we'll just continue to press our scheme as we always do. But as we move forward, we know each person, each coach, we know that down there, and not only down there, but everywhere is critical. But down there, the margin of error is so much smaller, right? They have such a limited amount of space to defend. We have to be on our details, whether that's being in our spots, correct run reads, or just not getting a penalty here and there that pushes us out of those situations.
We hear from players all the time, those guys get paid too, when an opponent makes a play. I think I know the answer here, but is there ever an excusable fumble? Is there ever a moment where there's just nothing a guy could have done to protect the ball, just the way they were hit, it was coming out regardless?
Yeah, not no, but hell no. All right, hell no. Okay, so there's always, we're looking at it from a lot of different ways. We get paid too, right? So that's the way I look at it. I don't look at it like they get paid, we get paid, right? So, and our job is to make sure that we maintain possession of the football. Do they make great plays? Yeah, but good offense, in my opinion, is always better than good defense.
When you kind of playing on that, good offense is better than a good defense. With all of the injuries that we've seen on defense, does the offense take a little bit of that on its shoulders this week to get back to the 35 points per game at home that you guys have been averaging?
Yeah, we have to execute. Offensively, we have to execute, and that is not necessarily connected to just what's going on with our defense, but this is a team. We do help each other. There's been times in this year, and you guys have seen it, we've maybe had a guy down on our side of the ball. They do a good job of getting us a turnover in the red zone. We go back. So we have to play complementary football, and the way that we play complementary football is we got to execute. We have to be physical. This is the physical time of the year that a lot of people start talking about physicality. Well, we start that, in January, February of last year is when we start talking about it and we start executing it. So we know that we have to do our job, but we also expect our defense to come out and play well. That's what they do, right? They do well.
So, what kind of tone does David set in the weight room for the running backs? I know he's rubbed off on Ja in that regard in some ways, but have you been around a guy like him who can kind of throw the weight around like he can, and what tone does he set in that regard?
Y'all answer that. That's easy. I lift more weights now because of David. That's a true statement. I do. I follow these guys just like a lot of you guys follow them. I see the stuff in the off season. I don't want to be the weakling in the room. So I'm in the weight room too because of it. But the truth is there is a standard that's set in the weight room, but that standard is a physical standard, period. And the reason why he is the way he is on the field is because he is preparing himself to go out and be the most physical back that he can possibly be. And if you notice, our guys in some of those one-on-one situations now, whether it's Craig, whether it's Ja, it's not always going to be a wiggle, because they know that when they get in the meeting room, we're gonna talk about was that a situation where you could be physical with the run and finish the run at the line of scrimmage or at the goal line. So he does have that effect on people. He is as strong as an ox, but what people don't know is that there are other guys in our room that are competing at the same level that he's competing at in the weight room, and he's probably had a bigger effect on me than the rest of them.
Can you deadlift 700 pounds yet?
Say again?
Can you deadlift 700
Say again?
pounds yet?
No, I cannot. But I can watch him do it, and I was a little nervous when I saw him doing it, and he just said, it's the off-season, coach, I got to get prepared, and it showed up. I don't care how, big of a season I want to have. I don't think the 700-pound deadlift is going to show up for me the same way.
Can we get an evaluation of Sewell's ball skills, running the ball, and maybe it's a fullback rep, refrigerator Perry style rep?
Man, love the anger in the run, but the ball security was egregious. They just can't get near it, right? They can't quite get near it. But you think about trying to get him on the ground. I watched the stiff arm, and I was grading him. You can ask Coach. As soon as his stiff arm went out, he got a little bit loose with the football. If you know that you get the stiff arm out, the ball has to come in. But man, just to have an athlete with that ability and that size, it almost doesn't seem fair when you can do some of the things that we're able to do with him.
How important is the relationship between Montgomery and Gibbs? I mean, they're coming out in intros together. You're in commercials with them for the game. Just like, how much does that lift that room and that offense?
I think that the biggest detail of all this is they want to be remembered for what they did on the field. And when you get two guys to buy into what we're trying to do, what we're trying to accomplish, the bigger picture, and they're growing in their relationship, is pretty special. It really is. A lot of these times, you got guys that are they're competing with each other. Now, don't get it twisted. They're definitely competing, but you get to where the competition is a distraction, or the competition won't allow both of them to be at their highest point. But to see them, I had no idea that they were going to do that. That probably, just the fact that they, want people to know that they're together 100%, that made me feel. It makes you feel really, really good as a coach and as teammates, that that it's not about this guy being announced or that guy being announced or this guy getting carries or that guy getting carries. But right now, the things that we've been able to do in the past, that's the past. We're really focused on December and January. We are focused as we can be right now as a room and as a team and as a group.
Have you applied for your Screen Actors Guild card yet, or do you just wait till the offseason to fill out that form?
Yeah, that was just fun then. Unless I can be a coach, I don't want to do anything else. So, if they want to come get me as a coach, then that's fine. But all the other stuff, you guys can kind of see my mentality right now. We are moving into that time of the year where, the focus has to be on football. That happened 3 or 4 weeks ago, and man, we had a good time. I really want them to have something to be remembered by, and I think that the nickname that they came up with, I think is something good to be remembered by. But at the end of the day, it's what we do on the grass.
This might be kind of a big picture question, but you look at the top 5 rushing teams in the league this year, and they have some of the best records in the NFL this season. We've talked about the passing game being such a prolific part of the NFL now, but do you think there's almost a revaluing of the run game in a way?
No doubt. I absolutely think it's happening, and it's just going to happen. But what you're starting to see, though, is that not only are these teams great run teams, but they're just physical altogether. And when you draw it all together, when you got guys that are great run action pass teams and drop back teams, that level of physicality that you have to deal with every single play, whether you're going from run to drop back or run to run action pass, it has an effect. And the other things that you're seeing is that as we keep going, a lot of these teams have 2 guys that are kind of, some teams have one. You'll see some teams with 1 guy, and it doesn't necessarily have to come just from the running back position, right? You can add rushing from the quarterback position as well. So there is a trend, as you can see. We saw it at the beginning of the year. Didn't know if it would continue, but now we're seeing it. And I think, it's something that we'll see. It takes a little bit of stress off of the defenses. Of course, we're keeping our defenses on the sideline a little bit longer by being able to run the football, but it also opens the playbook up. And we're getting to manageable second and 4s, second and 5s, second and 2s, where you get into that situation, you got to complete a gamut of what you can run.